January the 14th. Happy birthday to LL Cool J and Slick Rick the Ruler. Slick Rick the Ruler. Yeah, I didn't know how many people were getting this notification and what's not. But yeah, man, Slick Rick the Ruler. Crumbs. People didn't realize back then, but they should have. They birthdays on the same day. And it's funny because they didn't figure that out until they were like signed and they were doing the promos. Like LL album was out, right? And LL album was the biggest thing on Def Jam, Big and Deffer. Run DMC had just came out and they were crushing. And the next thing you know, you got it cleared the lane for LL's album, Big and Deffer. And when that came out, the Bad album, that just crushed the game. So now the game is like exploded in people's face. And now they're looking like LL's the king of hip hop, the king of rap. So right then they weren't even saying that. They were just saying the king of rap. They were putting it, he was just crowned everywhere. The king of rap, LL Cool J. So that's what got people offended, is what the media was saying about him. You know, he never called himself the king of rap on anything, but they crowned him the king of rap. He always called himself the prince of rap because he always looked at Curtis Blow as the king. So he never called himself the king of rap. Then all of a sudden, you know, Slick is getting ready. You know, Slick Rick's in the background, and his lead single is Treat Him Like a Prostitute. So they were like, wait a minute, we can't have this be the lead single. It's a hilarious story. You know, if you're listening to the song, it's hilarious. And but the title, so they were like, I don't know about this song, you know, being the lead single. And Rick is just so, man, what the y'all don't know what to, you know, all the jargon he talks, man, that UK jargon. So he was livid because now he felt disrespected. Like, how y'all gonna tell me, Slick Rick the Ruler, about hip hop or music? And he was mad. He was really pissed off. So they just created a whole new situation just by doing that. They didn't even know how bad they made the situation. When they did a promo for Slick Rick and they did a promo for LL Cool J, they had like the Def Jam, getting ready to talk about the Def Jam tour. And, you know, everybody's on the bill. I mean, like, everybody's on the bill. You got Run DMC, LL Cool J, Public Enemy. You know, it's one of those type of bills. You know, and no, thing went crazy. Man, that StreamYard had me in retirement. That thing was like 17,000 hours, which y'all didn't see. It was another 3 hours after that StreamYard ended. I'm like, Jesus. but, but I'm glad you loved it, man. It was hilarious and crazy. Like that behind the scenes was crazy. So anyway, at this banquet, the media came up to him while he was at the table. They had like some of the press, and the writers who was gonna cover hip hop. Hip hop wasn't like what it is today. So you got like Right On magazine, coming up to do an interview with you, some midtown journalists and some people who really like wrote about the culture. So they come up to ask LL some questions, and because they only really cared about LL at the time. LL was the man. So they all sitting at this like at Denny's somewhere, like at this big round table, like one of those round seats that go all the way around the table. So they all sitting over there, right? And they asked LL Cool J questions, and and nobody asking Slick Rick anything. And they was like, so, going into this, LL, what do you think? And man, he just burst out, man. The hell with that LL man. It's about me, Slick Rick, the ruler. Right in front of LL. He just burst it out, man. All this LL Cool J. It's about me, Slick Rick, the ruler. I mean, once he said that, it was like hilarious because LL was like used to it. Like, this dude is just, he just have no regards. He would just say anything. He didn't care. He did not care. Slick Rick was that type. He looked at everybody. These are peasants, crumbs. So it was his language, the way he talked. But they just realized that was Rick's personality, and that was just how he is, and it's what made him unique. And LL loved his album. Like, this dude is wild. Like, there was nobody like him. And Dana Dane and everybody in the crew that he was rolling with was trying to rap like him. Because Rick was just that unique. He was that guy. And LL Cool J, no one had ever seen in hip hop somebody who had that kind of energy. Rappers was mostly laid back. Some of them was dancing, but LL came through with lyrics and he was moving. He never sat still. When he was rhyming, it was like a rhyming mime. He's signing everything with his hands. He's moving. He's jumping from here to there. You could sell and market that. But when he was rapping, it was entirely different than what everybody else was rapping like. You knew that this dude was something different. And they was like, man, they used to call him encyclopedia because he was saying words. They was like, wait a minute, what was that word? Is that a real word? This dude making up words. It was so funny. I mean, even Eminem was making fun of it because he loved LL Cool J because of the way he used his words. Like, that's why he said, we gotta let our love unfurl. And he's like, dude, is that even a real word? Like, brothers don't walk around using words like unfurl. You know? It was like, what did he just say? But that was part of his uniqueness. He used to read the dictionary and like remember words and know what they meant. So he wanted to use words that other people weren't using in their music at all. If this guy said that word, he wanted to say the same word, but another word meaning the same thing that somebody probably never heard before, and they'd be confused. See, that used to be a good thing when you can confuse people where they go back to want to hear and learn your lyrics and learn what you actually saying. And people don't realize that he was a teenager starting this. That was Def Jam's first artist, LL Cool J. And without him making I Need Love, which showed rappers we could do that. I mean, others have tried and it didn't come off right. The only song that was a love song back then that was passionate that I liked was Eric B's Mahogany. But nothing was like I Need Love. You couldn't front on the song. You could try, but you just couldn't. Once that, dog, when I Need Love bass drop, there I was. About the date. Anything you had fronting on that song was over. Because if you had a car and you had speakers and you play I Need Love, even right now, play I Need Love on your car system anywhere. You never front on the song. Even now, 20, 30 years later, you play I Need Love. That bass drop was worth the price of admission. No, I've tried to play You're My Heart. See, LL is my favorite rapper of all time. So I knew that playing You're My Heart, I had to at least give it a shot. I played it and said, what did they think of when they went in here to make this song? Like, I'm thinking, like, this is not working at all. Like, this song is One Shot at Love was not working. Two Different Worlds was just better than those two, but those failed. All of those songs failed on the Panther album. Those songs was like, I'm like, we could take them off, take this off. You're My Heart was probably one of the worst songs I had heard at that time. And I said, oh my God. I think there was even a video for One Chance at Love. But You're My Heart. I couldn't, oh my God. Man, now y'all done put that song in my head. Why y'all want to do that to me? Oh, we all had our favorite artist. Your favorite artist's worst song. What is it? Go on and name it. Because you know that there's always going to be your favorite artist and he's doing what he's doing. And you know it's going to be a whack song somewhere on this list. Nah, for me it was different. Slick Rick, I'm somebody that likes Slick Rick's second album better than his first. The Adventures of Slick Rick is an amazing album. Yes, it is. But I love the second album, The Ruler Is Back, better. People say, oh, you just trying to hate. You trying to be different. You don't know how many times I went through that discussion. I did not like Teenage Love. I hated Teenage Love. Don't hurt me again. You didn't like Teenage Love? A Teenage Love. Hmm. A Teenage Love. I thought that was just corny. I hated that song. I hated the video. As soon as the video come on, I would turn it off. Crime Stories. Shoo, man. The Ruler's Back. Are you kidding me? Moses, the King, Tonto. Every song on that album is banging. Runaway. Are you kidding me? I know she wanna run away. I already start the next day. But I know you wanna be with him. So hallelujah, from the Christ cake. I know you wanna run away. I'm ready to start the next day. But I know you wanna be with him. I can't believe this shit is happening. Oh man, shoot, are you kidding? Yeah, that second album, baby. I'm wondering, should I begin to kick your mom in the chin? Because I'm the king. I mean, it just was, man, it was wild. That second album was wild. Then, after the Behind Bars disaster that they messed up Rick's music, he came back with a vengeance. I know why you're here, but I ain't saying nothing. See, LL fixed all the problems that he had on the Panther album, on the Mama Said Knock You Out album. That's why he knew when that album was over, I got to go right back and make another album. He went right back to making another album as soon as Panther was over. The Mama Said Knock You Out album came out immediately after Walking with a Panther. People don't know that. That album came out like less than a year later. Normally, an album drop, you wait 2 years to drop. He was already working on Mama Said Knock You Out album. Because after the third album, they was like, oh, he went Hollywood. He fell off. And created the biggest song of his career with Mama Said Knock You Out. That song could get played right now and would do the same impact it had back then. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Wasn't too many people talking about trying LL. So it was just a form of jealousy from a lot of artists. Like Ice-T whole thing going up against him was jealousy. Plain out jealousy. He was jealous. LL was getting all this attention because he was from New York. Everybody was pampering LL, but LL was doing something they couldn't do. Now, Ice-T rapped about what was going on in the streets. And he was always talking about uplifting people and doing things for the community. I mean, he always talked about that in his rhymes. And I'm Your Pusher was trying to switch kids off drugs and getting them to push music. I'm your pusher. Man, you got an 8 ball? No, I got a 12-inch. Got an LP. But he started dissing LL on I'm Your Pusher and all this stuff because he felt like LL wasn't respecting the architects because he was believing the articles, and instead of actually reaching out to people. You know what I'm saying? It was like, dude, what is wrong? Who is this guy? So when he was dissing him, LL never really heard of him until somebody was saying and telling him about it. So he never really spoke on it till he did to the break of dawn. But the diss was out for years before that even happened. Like I'm Your Pusher, that was on the Power album. The OG album was basically out at this time. Before LL even addressed it. What he said. He said, before you rap, you was a downtown car thief working in a parking lot. A brother with a perm deserves to get burned. So tell me how you like your cold cream on a comb in a bowl and a wet dream. With your TV on Channel Fuzz, Uncle L. That's how much damage he does. Here's $5. Take a taxi cab. Take your rounds around the corner to the rap rehab. Keep on. I'm immune to them romper room tunes. You little hip hop raccoon. And it was funny because back then everybody was wearing them raccoon hats. In the 80s, everybody had the hat with the raccoon tail in the back. People were wearing those hats back then. That was it. You had the raccoon hat. That was like hip hop royalty. The Fat Boys had it. Raccoon hat. That stuff was made of straight squirrel. People like, yo, I got the raccoon hat. It's like, man, look out. That ain't nothing but squirrels. He said the Daniel Boone hats. Them were the hats, bruh. So when he called him a hip hop raccoon, it just went with the whole statement, man, because he was wearing them raccoon hats and it was symbolic, like raccoons digging in the trash, just hang around and love trash. So it was, it just went with the whole thing. That one verse finished Ice-T. It really did. He never was the same after that. Who is this person talking to? LL had people that help write songs. Like, it's different. They collaborate on music. It's not like LL needed a writer, but when someone is helping you formulate a song, like with Marley Marl and everything, that's like saying Kanye West wrote for Jay-Z. If Kanye construct the hook in the bridge and tell them. So if Kanye, they're composing, coming up with a song. Tragedy Gaddafi was one that helped worked on that album. There was some other people there while they was making Mama Said Knock You Out. And they give their ideas. Somebody be like, oh, I like that, but you should say it like this. You should be like, the beat should drop off right there, and you be like, yo, nah, I'm coming up roses. Like they'll tell you like different phrases to do. They're not writing your album. But then you get these dudes years later be like, yeah, I wrote that. Like dude talking about he wrote Ghostface album. I wrote Supreme Clientele. It's like, dude, you were there. Yeah, you was throwing lines out like, yo, try that line, try this line right here. Like, yeah, okay, but you're like, oh, I wrote these records. What are you talking about? That's why Nicki Minaj always say Safari didn't write her raps. But what Safari was doing was making all her whack bars sound great and make them witty. He'd be like, we could say that, but let's say this instead. And that's why me and Safari got cool. I told you. Once I did that and explained the process, he hit me up like, oh my God. He hit me up just out of shock. Dude, he said, I don't know how you know what you know, because it was the way you reenacted what went on with me and Nikki in the room. It was only me and her in that room. And he said, you did it almost word for word how it really went down. That is scary. So I already know what happened. And this coming from one of the guys that was in the room. That's when Safari like, dude, you the truth. Because he was like, dude, that's exactly how our process worked. Me and her would sit in the room, just me and her. And I would help her. We'll be doing the rhyme. Oh, shoot. I almost broke this doggone jar of olives. And she'll throw her rhyme out. And Nikki do write her raps. She will write her raps. And she'll start spitting it with her fire. And he'll be listening. And he'll say, nah, say this. That's better. That sounds much better. He's like, I like that part, but you should do this. Drop that. Let's go to the next bar. You got that bar should be harder. Don't come soft. After that, you start off soft and you come hard with the harder bars. No, that need to be a little bit more witty. No, you can make that one better. I like that one. You can keep that one. Yeah, I mean, what he's doing is making her albums better. I love olives. Let's say good for you. Now, let's continue. So, all these people who was caught up in the trance of Man, this is what hip hop is about. This is what this music is about. Really didn't know anything. They didn't have any inkling about how this business worked. They didn't care. They were about the love of the game, as other people would say. They was about the love of the art. Wasn't about money. A lot of people be feeling like that too. Like everything's about them. I know it's funny because see, all of you guys are born at different times, different eras. So some of you may be was born when all this was happening. Some of you may have been little babies, and the others may never have been born like to 20, 30 years ago after the fact. So it's crazy because time continuously moves forward, but people all have different views looking back. People always look back, no matter what year they were born. They could have been born in 2000. They can be 19, 20 years old right now, looking back. The 2000 new millennium babies are now starting finally to become 21 years of age. Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh. We always stamped LL as the best. Just cuz. You know what I'm saying? Like it was for us, it was no doubt for me at the time. People be like, man, I'm getting old, like it's a bad thing. Well, would you rather not be here? I'm like, hey, you could say I'm getting old. I'm cool with that. But I'm like, I'm getting vintage. When LL started calling himself the GOAT, the greatest of all time, is when he had to remind people because he was making movies and he was having success on the screen. And he basically hadn't made an album since Mr. Smith. So when the Mr. Smith album came out, that was basically an R&B album. He got to come back with the hard album to let people know he's still LL Cool J. Man, there was a lot of craziness going on at the time, for real. I mean, seriously, hip hop was a whole different world at that point. It was a lot of madness going on with hip hop. But it was all good in the end. People got what they wanted out of it. My top five LL, I don't really have a top five. I can't even tell you what's my favorite LL Cool J song. It's like, man, Jack the Ripper will always be in my top five. Jack the Ripper, no matter what, will always be in my top five. Um, man, it's hard to say, bro. It's really hard to say. But Jack the Ripper got to be like, if not my favorite, it was when Jack the Ripper dropped the impact. It was everything, and it was brought to me. I was one of the first people in the city to have Jack the Ripper, and that was total accidental. Somebody who don't even listen to LL Cool J like that. I don't even know how he got it. It was played on a radio station. Normally, I would have gotten everything LL Cool J. My boy recorded it, brought it down to me. He's like, man, I know you listen to LL a lot. Terry was like, look, this new LL Cool J song. I was like, new LL song. He's like, it came on the radio. Thought you might want to hear it or something. I'm like LL Cool J. I'm thinking like Terry don't know who else. It's probably not even LL Cool J. Played that song. I said, you know, you ain't getting this tape back right. I hope you know you ain't leaving this house with this tape. He's like, all right, you can go on and keep it, man. I don't want the tape. Like, cool, because yeah, you did a good thing. You did a really good thing here. Man, from that whole summer on, it was Jack the Ripper. And we went to Detroit, no, Saginaw, Michigan. Let me not get that mixed up. Saginaw, Michigan. We went there, and as soon as we get there in Saginaw, um, they were playing. My cousin Antoine had the 12 inch. It had Going Back to Cali, and then on the back is Jack the Ripper. It's a B-side record on the Less Than Zero soundtrack. I'm like, okay. So they put it out on the 12 inch. So the record version is the LP version on the 12 inch maxi single, whatever that was. The B side to the Going Back to Cali. Man, it was crazy. Jack the Ripper was crazy. Back then, everybody thought they was LL Cool J. Any guy with a six pack was wearing shirts open in the soul summer of '88 with a doggone wearing their dad's Kango hat. They didn't even know their dad had a Kango hat in the house. That's a Kango. Put it on and be outside. You had Kangos in your house and didn't even know it. Man, I knew almost every LL Cool J rap back then. Back then, I could tell you every rhyme right off the dome. Yeah, man, it was crazy. The thing is like I told you, they respected each other. And they was friends like that. But Rick was always like in competition with everybody. He just talked about everybody like they was trash. And he'll talk about you right to your face. That's what made it funny. And it was just the language he was using because he's from England. And they jargon is so different. Like you walking around calling people crumbs. Like nobody do that. Crumbs. Peasants. Yeah, we loved Rick, man. That's the thing. If you were good at what you did, it was gonna shine. It was gonna shine through. Who was that tried to mimic him? Dana Dane. Dana trying to sound like he's Slick Rick. I'm like, I'd have left them dudes too, man. They trying to sound like me. Dana Dane for fame. Dana Dane for fame. I was not a Dana Dane fan. Dana, everybody's junking Dana Dane for fame. But I knew what was gonna happen to them. Without Slick Rick, they was just gonna fizzle out. And that's what happened. They fizzled. For shizzle, my nizzle, they fizzled. Well, happy birthday, legends. Cino got to get the day kicked off. You know how we do.